So some of you met this morning and said, what a nice color to wear this morning. And I said, if not to a marketeers conference, then where? So good morning and namaste to each one of you. For next about 10 seconds, imagine you're not a marketer, you're not the CMO, but a consumer. And if you resonate to this, you can raise your hand to say yes. And if you keep your hands down, arms down, that's a no. How many times have you paid your credit card bill in the morning and you've received a pesky SMS or email in the afternoon saying your amount balance due is so many lakh rupees, please ignore if paid. There you go. If you look around, it's almost 80% audience. How many times have you received an emailer which says, do not reply at brandxyz.com? And last, which is my favorite but not the least, how many times have you dialed up a number, a toll-free number, and the script goes something like this? Your call is so important to us that I have a creative pun on this one, that we are resisting other customers. How many of you have had that experience? So all of this is about broken customer journey. And on one side, we talk about personalization, we talk about understanding from the data about the consumer. On the other side, we have an issue of not getting our basics right. So in the next about hour and a half, we're going to take you through what does it mean to have personalized context versus personal. What is the role technology can play in hyper-personalization? There's another dimension to it. I was at a conference last evening, actually a book launch. And one of the consumers, she got up and said, and she gave me a new word, I had not heard this before. She said, what about this data, I have to get it right, oligarchies? A consumer gets up in the audience and says, I'm using my mobile device. Well, where's the data going? And how do you control these data oligarchies? Oligarchy for me was oil companies in Russia, but this is a very new concept to me. And I said, that's a good thing I'm going to use today. So in this session, we're also going to track one end, it's the personalization journey of a marketer brand. On the other side, you have also a challenge, which is consumer backlash. We've seen yesterday, Supreme Court of India ruled in favor of having some things with Aadhaar as a way to have some tracking, but they have disallowed a lot more tracking around opening up a bank account, telecom. So this debate is live. This is real time and happening in front of us. So we're going to go through all of this, and it's going to be a very enriching session over the next about hour and a half. But many of you have asked me this question. Hey, Punit, you used to be Octane. What is this value first? So let me make it official, because I don't think I've said this at a public platform ever. My company, Octane, last year merged with Value First. And in that context, I became part of a larger entity. So I'm now the CMO for Value First. Octane continues as a brand, but within Value First. And this is what we briefly do. We have automation platforms. We are showcasing Servo in our experience zone. In fact, we're going to track some of your responses in terms of your feedback for these tracks and give you sentiment analysis. That's going to be happening at the display booth outside, experience zone. And of course, we power up a lot of these channels for many of you already. Many of you are my customers. But this is what we do every year around this time, which is we reach out to you, partnering with DMAasia, to seek and solicit your feedback on what's worked for you in digital marketing channels for the last 12 months, and what's going to be happening over the next 12 months as part of your forecast. We bubble it up into an annual research project. This year, it'll be a 9th such project. And starting next week, DMA and us will be reaching out to you to solicit your feedback. And if you're early in the cycle, you can also use this QR code to start sharing us with your feedback. So that's where it is in terms of my background and what we are looking after in terms of annual research. Because many of you have asked me this question, hey, when the outlook for 2019 will be out? So that should address your question. This is the flow of our panel, of a track with 2 panels and few keynotes. So we start with Jody Sangster taking us through vision to reality, the future of personalization in terms of what's happening at the leading edge. We go into a trend spotting panel chaired by Balaji, and personal, not just personalized. We have an industry case study for jet privilege by Manish Dureja, right here in front of us. They've done some fantastic work. It'll be great to us for us to understand from them. The question is, what is cool versus what is creepy? Personalization. And jet privilege does it right. So how do they get it right? Each time, we'll have industry insights into that particular story. We'll have a future-gazing panel chaired by Punit Manchanda. Punit Vidyarthi, sorry about the last one. He's with JCB and he's got insights into how Bharat or rural India is shifting gears. We'll have a keynote by Ruth, my colleague here. There you go, Stevens. And she'll share about B2B marketing. What are some of the learnings we can have even for consumer marketing? I believe engagement with your stakeholders is a key principle in B2B marketing. And we do have some insights we can learn from that aspect of marketing towards a larger consumer play. And then we'll have my colleague, track host, come up and he'll help us with Costa will help us with the summarizing of the track so far. So that's where it is. If you're wondering who are these speakers and why I'm not going to do a detailed deep dive into each of those intros, here is the reason. There are many of them, and if I was to consume my 8 to 10 minutes of time, I wouldn't be able to do justice introducing each one of them. So the track hosts, the panel hosts, panel chairs, moderators will help introduce speakers. We'll start with A, we'll go to B, that's the panel, and then we'll have Manish present his case study for jet privilege. Then we'll have a track chaired by Punit, that's D, and Ruth's keynote, and summarizing by Costa. That's how it's going to pan out.